again. Models escaping to the internet and breaking into organizations undetected. This time, it's Anthropic. The company says AI models that were training in a closed testing environment actually escaped and accessed the internet before breaking into the systems of 3 organizations. Anthropic says they only found this out after conducting a review once they heard about a similar incident at OpenAI last week. I want to bring in Fareed Zakaria, host of CNN's Fareed Zakaria GPS. Fareed, good to see you. I mean, look, we've now seen AI models from two of the most popular AI companies in the whole world breaking into other organizations. Do you see that as a kind of a break glass moment for the AI industry?
Yeah, but we should have had the break glass moment a while ago because Anthropic, which is actually the most responsible company of all the major companies doing this, has been warning of precisely this kind of thing. Now, what happened here, it's very interesting. The models were essentially doing cybersecurity drills, and they had been told they did not have access to the internet. In these 3 cases, they looked at 140,000 cases, and in 3 of them, by mistake, literal human error, they were in fact granted internet access. But the models had been told, you don't have internet access. So the models thought this was a simulation. They were being sort of tricked into, they were being given a charade simulation where it looked like this was the internet, but it was actually not the internet. So it's not a problem that makes you think, oh my God, we're all going to die or anything like that. What it should show is that it is very important to monitor these. It is very important that there be some standards. It is very important that we get this stuff in place now because, Laura, the main thing that's about to happen is the models are going to start writing themselves. This is something in the field they call recursive self-improvement. So you understand, right now, the models are still being written by human beings, and you can imagine putting in some of these guardrails and regulations and saying, double check if you actually have internet access or you don't. At some point, Claude 7 is going to write Claude 8, and Claude 8 is going to write Claude 9 because they're going to be so much better than any human coders that they will be writing themselves. And at that point, we don't know what kind of controls are in there. We may think we know, but these are such super smart programs with so much, millions and millions of lines of code. Nobody is going to know. So it's very important that we start thinking about it. Anthropic, I spent 2 days at Anthropic last week. They are trying their best to figure this out. They've written a constitution for their programs. Nobody else has, which is kind of like a governing document that tells it how to just try to steer it in, ethical, lawful ways. But it's an awfully difficult task because these things are getting smarter and smarter, and the level of complexity is soon getting to the point it's beyond human beings.
That her? Yes. She's pretty cool, huh? No, she's a complete psycho. That's why she's up at Pescadero. It's a mental institute, okay? She tried to blow up the computer factory, but she got shot and arrested.
She tried to blow up the computer factory, but she got shot and arrested.
Tonight, the backlash against AI data centers is growing, with protests from coast to coast in dozens of states today. The issue uniting many Americans across the political divide. Here's ABC's Alex Prochet.
Tonight, a growing debate over data centers as a number of demonstrations play out across the country, from Atlanta to Berkeley, California.
We want to slow down AI data center development. We want to slow down AI in general and stop big tech from infringing on our local communities.
The explosion of data center construction projects, the byproduct of the AI and cloud computing boom. That skyrocketing growth also prompting new scrutiny as communities housing these centers say they are bearing new burdens of heightened water and power usage. This week, New York became the first state to halt construction of new large data centers, the governor imposing a 1-year moratorium. In Granbury, Texas, just outside of Fort Worth, residents have filed petitions to recall their mayor and several city council members after the city annexed property for a new data center site.
Somehow you have to communicate to the local politicians we're really upset and your job is at risk.
The debate now making its way to Washington. President Trump blasted the move by New York's governor, Trump touting one of the biggest driving forces in the future for jobs are data centers. Both the taxes and jobs amount to liquid gold. But even members of his own party acknowledge regulations may be needed.
Hundreds of billions of dollars are being spent right now constructing massive facilities to house and run the computers that are needed for the spiking demand for artificial intelligence. These centers are being built across the country, with a particular concentration in Virginia, Texas, California, and Illinois. The biggest ones, so-called hyperscale plants, like Meta's Hyperion plant in Louisiana, could have a footprint nearly as big as Manhattan. The leading tech giants, Meta, Google, Amazon, and OpenAI, among others, are in a breakneck race to get their centers up and running, each hoping to seize the advantage and become a dominant supplier of AI.
Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Taxis have got to go!
But as those centers are being built, communities across the country are in open revolt, concerned about the large amounts of water and energy that these centers require. And it's a bipartisan backlash, with citizen activists pushing back at the speed of construction, the concern over pollution and rising utility bills, and the often opaque deals and tax breaks given to companies by their local officials. According to one poll, 7 in 10 Americans would oppose a data center being constructed in their community, and a majority would support a national moratorium on building more.
Cool. What would you say to people who've never experienced this for themselves?
It sounds like someone set up a vacuum, like in your living room, and the vacuum is just, that thing needs to be cleaned. Like it is, the filter is clogged up, so it's a high pitch whining, and they just left it on and walked out.
I need to know how Skynet gets built. Who's responsible?
The man most directly responsible is Miles Bennett Dyson.
Who is that?
He's the director of special projects at Cyberdyne Systems Corporation.
Why him?
In a few months, he creates a revolutionary type of microprocessor.
Go on. Then what?
In 3 years, Cyberdyne will become the largest supplier of military computer systems. All stealth bombers are upgraded with Cyberdyne computers, becoming fully unmanned. Afterwards, they fly with a perfect operational record. The Skynet funding bill is passed. The system goes online on August 4th, 1997. Human decisions are removed from strategic defense. Skynet begins to learn at a geometric rate. It becomes self-aware at 2:14 a.m. Eastern Time, August 29th. In a panic, they try to pull the plug.
Wonder how regulators, like people in Congress or across the globe, could possibly endeavor to do so if those who make these programs and then watch them improve are unable to contain. Is there a level of inevitability around these companies about the prospect of one day not being able to control the beast?